Jai Opetaia emphatically knocks out Huseyin Cinkara in a devastating fashion. That was a brutal knockout. That is one of those knockouts the fighters do not come back from. And look, I picked Jai to stop Sincara before 5 rounds. I thought this was going to be an easy night for Jai because I called the fight a mismatch. However, I got to say this, respect to Huseyin Cinkara. He was game. He came to fight. He had a game plan and he was awkward in there, and he made it really difficult for Jai to get the upper hand in the earlier rounds because he knew what he was doing. He's an old guy, but he's very smart in the ring, and he had a little bit of success, especially in the second round where he landed that straight right hand down the pipe, which is actually the best punch for orthodox fighters when they're fighting southpaws. That straight hand right down the pipe, when it lands, is always dangerous. And Jai Opetaia was on the back foot. He staggered into the ropes, and Huseyin Cinkara wanted to jump on Jai. However, Jai was smart. He smothered Sincara, and he was able to take the sting out of that attack. That was the moment that the fight really changed because it gave Jai Opetaia the impetus to want to stop Huseyin Cinkara, or he wanted to get Huseyin Cinkara out of there. And that was a massive mistake on Jai Opetaia's side because he stopped using his jab, he stopped using his footwork, he stopped using his feints. He was just headhunting. He was in that fight looking to stop Huseyin Cinkara as early as possible, and that meant that Huseyin Cinkara had a little bit of success. His jab was good, Sincara. His footwork was good. His head movement was good. He was moving away from the ropes really well. And as I was watching that fight, I was thinking to myself, it is only a matter of time that Huseyin Cinkara was going to get tired. It is only a matter of time that the 40-year-old's legs were going to give up. And of course, we saw that happen in round 8. But before that, Jai Opetaia was finding it really difficult to pin Huseyin Cinkara down and to land big shots because Sincara, as I said, was using his footwork to get out of difficult situations. He knew he did not want to stay on the ropes for too long. He knew the Jai hits hard, and therefore he knew how to take the sting out of those shots. But Jai, he needed to get back to his boxing, and from round 5 onwards, Jai Opetaia settled down. He realized that he was too trigger happy. He realized that he was too gung-ho, and he realized that he was making mistakes because he was trying to get Sincara out of there so much that he was leaving opportunities for Sincara to capitalize on. So from round 5 onwards, Jai Opetaia, calmed down. He started to get his poise. He started to land in the jab to the body, to the chest area, and that was to lower Sincara's, right hand down because he wanted to come up top with that southpaw backhand. And in round 8, Sincara's legs were finished. He was gone. He's 40. He cannot keep the pace in which Jai was setting. He throws a lazy right hand, Sincara. Jai Opetaia dips to the left and then comes up with that southpaw backhand. It landed flush on his chin, and that was it. That's all she wrote. Huseyin Cinkara was on the canvas. He needed the paramedics to come and revive him back to life. That was how devastating that KO was from Jai Opetaia. Look, it was a very good performance, but it was a performance that if you look at round 2, you would see that other fighters like Benavidez or Zerdo Ramirez might look at that round 2 and go, there are holes there that they can exploit with Jai Opetaia. And when I talk about holes, I'm talking about mental, the mentality. Jai has an intense mentality, and he's someone that when he is hit, he wants to hit back. And sometimes that could be detrimental in the boxing ring because you're so gung-ho that you leave yourself open for counters, or you leave yourself open to be hit with a massive shot. And I think that is exactly what the round 2 showed us, that Jai Opetaia could be susceptible to a situation where he gets too excited for the knockout that he leaves himself open for counters and big right hands. So I think, it's a good performance from Jai. he's definitely got things that he can learn from this fight because, Sincara made it difficult at times. And if it was any easier fight, Jai should finish this fight in 5 rounds. But Sincara, he did his homework. He knew how to move. He knew how to frustrate Jai. He knew how to take away Jai's, jab, which he did for most of the fight. He knew how to use his footwork to gain advantage. But ultimately, Jai Opetaia was the better, smarter, hits harder, and he was able to get the job done. And, I didn't expect anything less than Jai Opetaia knockout because we know Jai has got the dynamite in his hands, in his knuckles. And when he lands, it's hard for anyone to come back. And, for the last few fights, he's had back-to-back, knockout, and he's broken someone's jaw in 3 places. So look, Jai Opetaia moves on to the next step. And as you guys know, the next step is probably the most important fight of Jai Opetaia's career. And probably the most important fight of the Cruiserweight division right now. And that is either versus David Benavidez or Zerdo Ramirez. Or Badou Jack, if he wins his next fight, or whoever wins that WBC belt. So look, there are opportunities there for Jai Opetaia to go on to become undisputed, which is what he wants to become. But he has to take those chances when it comes. David Benavidez versus Zerdo Ramirez. Whoever wins, Turkey or Sheikh, get down and make that fight because that is the fight that we want to see. Or whoever wins that Badou Jack versus whoever he's fighting, Jai Opetaia should get the opportunity to fight that because it is about time that we see a crowned, undisputed Cruiserweight champion in the Cruiserweight division. But that was a good win. That was emphatic. That was a win that, will send shivers through the division because everybody, even Benavidez, would know that if he gets caught with one of those left hands that Jai landed, it will be good night. Everyone knows that. Zerdo Ramirez knows in his heart of heart that if he gets hit with one of those shots, that's the end of it. So these guys, and I made a video a few days ago saying that Zerdo Ramirez was stacking Jai Opetaia, and that is true because he knows the threat. He knows what Jai can do, and that is why he's been avoiding the fight for so long, to the fact that he wants to fight David Benavidez in the Cruiserweight division, a guy that is moving up in weight. And my complaints was, why does he not fight Jai Opetaia, who is in a Cruiserweight division, who's ready to fight, who's ready to unify the belt and make the Cruiserweight division great again. So it'll be interesting to see how things play out for Jai, Zerdo Ramirez and David Benavidez. But look, Jai Opetaia goes on to the next step. Huseyin Cinkara, credit to him, he came to fight, he gave his best, but ultimately he came up short on the night. At the age of 40, what is next for someone like a Sincara? I'm not sure. I don't know where he goes back into the rankings, but he gave a very good account of himself today, and he can be proud of himself. But Jai Opetaia is the king of the division, in my opinion, and it'll be interesting to see what he does next. Get in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this fight. What was your prediction before the fight? And what do you think about Jai Opetaia knocking out Huseyin Cinkara? My name is Bright. This is the Bright Show Podcast Boxing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.